Stop the robbery talk. Manny Pacquiao is not robbed, and I repeat, not robbed, against Mario Barrios. It was a very close fight. And personally, I actually had Barrios winning 115 to 113. People are going to be mad about it. But, let's be honest here. Manny Pacquiao was fantastic in the fight at 46 years old. Fantastic. I'm delighted he proved me wrong. But the crowd were reacting to moments that Pacquiao had, which, weren't actually as effective as people made out they were. And I feel like people were also forgetting some of the work that Barrios did. And let's be real, that fight exposed that Mario Barrios is probably the weakest champion in boxing right now. 100% it did. Like, Barrios was not good in that fight at all. Pacquiao was, for his age, fantastic stuff, and still proved he can compete at the top level 100%. But I still don't think he won the fight. I mean, there's an argument that can be made for him winning, but I feel like a draw probably is the fair result overall. There's an argument for both winning, but it's not a robbery. Stop the robbery talk. People who had it wide for Pacquiao are just ridiculously biased and didn't take into account the long-range work that Mario Barrios was doing, and the fact that Barrios was able to catch Pacquiao and lure him into some good shots and some good work. It's just biased, so many people's scorecards, in my opinion. So biased. A lot of the time, Pacquiao wasn't landing. Barrios was able to outland Pacquiao in the fight. It was close. But it does tell you as well. Barrios was active with that jab. Barrios was good behind that straight right. Pacquiao jumped in and blitzed him well, in my opinion. But, again, his work was messy in that fight. His work was messy in the fight at times. And he had to be, because Barrios was so big compared to him. But again, Barrios was able to land some of the cleaner, single shots, in my opinion. That's what I saw. And people saying, it was a robbery, were just listening to the crowd reactions throughout the fight, or were just reacting every time Manny Pacquiao threw a shot, and literally scored it every time Pacquiao was able to get a moment in. That's why people scored it for Manny Pacquiao. They weren't taking into account any of what Mario Barrios was doing. It's like Mario Barrios would dominate like 2 minutes of a round, and then Pacquiao would come on late, get the odd blitz going, and then people would then score that round to Manny Pacquiao, forgetting the first 2 minutes of what actually happened in the round. That's what I'm thinking of why people are giving it to Manny Pacquiao. And it's just out of pure bias as well. Pacquiao would land a few decent shots around, but then they'd forget the previous work that Mario Barrios was also able to do. And then they'd forget, look at that jab that snapped the head back of Manny Pacquiao. Look at that straight right hand those few straight right hands that Mario Barrios was landing on Manny Pacquiao. That's things that many people were forgetting. And I'm just breaking down the fight honestly. I wanted Manny Pacquiao to win. I'm a Manny Pacquiao fan. Of course I am. You can't not be. I'm just honestly breaking down the fight. I'm not annoyed because he knocked out Ricky Hatton. I don't even like Ricky Hatton. That's the thing. It's all weird. But at the end of the day, Pacquiao was fantastic for 46 and still showed he can compete at the top level. But he wasn't robbed in that fight. He wasn't robbed in the fight. It's a shame that loads of people are throwing that word out there, because it's just making things just so frustrating, in my opinion. It's so frustrating that people are just throwing robbery out there when it wasn't at all. You're just reacting, in the moment. So I feel like if a lot of people watch the fight back, properly analyze it, they will realize that Barrios possibly nicked it, or they'd realize how close the fight actually was. Or if people are saying robbery, for some reason they're calling a ridiculously close fight a robbery. A draw is a fair result. It was hard to split both of them. They both had some good success in very different ways in that fight. That's the thing. Pacquiao got his success off of some good blitzes, getting in and out of there, landing some good quick combos. Not always landing, but, was active, landing some good quick combos. Barrios was able to land some good single shots, some good clean single shots that he was able to do, and was very good behind the jab throughout. That's what Barrios was able to do, and Pacquiao got his success of his own. They both got success of their own in very different ways. It was very difficult to split them, and also the very different kind of styles of both of them makes them both very hard to split as well with how they both fought the fight. It's really boring me seeing people saying, oh, 8-4 Manny Pacquiao, 9-3 Manny Pacquiao. It just wasn't. Stop making it all so unlikable. Like, it just wasn't like that. It just wasn't wide. It was so close. So stop the robbery talk. I don't know what some people watch, but I just don't think people just look at what Pacquiao was doing. They don't care about what Barrios was doing in the fight. They don't care about what Barrios was doing. A lot of the time, for a lot of the rounds, Barrios was able to dictate the tempo. But then Pacquiao was able to come back in strong. And then, yes, I get at the end of the rounds, it's good ending round strong. But a lot of the time, though, what I'm saying is people weren't taking into account, the dictating of some rounds that Mario Barrios was able to do behind the jab and was able to keep Pacquiao behind it, or was able to counter Pacquiao on the way out using his reach, and that's what he was able to do. Again, as I said, Pacquiao was way quicker than what Barrios was and was able to beat Barrios to the punch a lot of the time in the fight. But I feel like the last 3 rounds, especially, Barrios definitely won. And I feel like that's what, in my opinion, nicked the fight to Mario Barrios, because he definitely took those last 3 rounds like he should have as the younger guy. Like he should have. But again, mid-rounds, I thought Pacquiao was class. Pacquiao was able to beat Barrios to the punch, get to him, frustrate him a bit. And at times, I feel like in the mid-rounds, Pacquiao made Mario Barrios neglect his jab. At times, mid-rounds, Pacquiao was able to he was literally able to take Mario Barrios' jab away from him. It shows how good and smart he is at 46 years of age. It's fantastic stuff. 46 years young. Years young, honestly. Fantastic stuff from Manny Pacquiao. He's got to fight again. People saying, oh, he should retire. He shouldn't retire. I wouldn't mind seeing the rematch at all there, to be honest with you. They probably have got to run it back. But yeah, for Mario Barrios, 2 draws in a row. He's a very weak champion. He's a very bloody weak champion. Probably the weakest champion in boxing. But yeah, there we go. Stop the robbery talk. I feel like that's the main topic of this video. But yeah, good fight, good action-packed fight, good pace they fought at as well. Manny still fought at a very good pace. Fantastic. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I will speak to you all in the next one. But just stop the robbery talk. It wasn't a robbery.